Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving deep into the PTE reading section. So if you have already gone over the individual task but you want a deeper understanding of the essential concepts and strategies, this video is for you. I'm going to share with you some of the most crucial elements to focus on while reading along with extended examples to help you understand what I mean. Trust me, these insights will help you not just ace the exam, but also become a more skilled reader overall. So, when it comes to the concept, the first one we are going to look is understanding sentence structure and grammar. This is a very key and important thing if you want to answer correctly, right? A lot of mistakes come from not recognizing how sentences are constructed. So here in PTE core reading, it will test your ability to pick up on these structures to ensure the answers fits grammatically and contextually. Let's see an example for this. The professor who has been teaching at the university for over 20 years dash a lot of books on history and politics. And we have four options here. Has written, that's the first option. Write, wrote, and writing. If you see all the options, what you need to consider is who has been teaching at the university for over 20 years. That's the phrase, right? And this tells us it's a present perfect continuous situation, which indicates that something which has started in the past and continues in the present. So, here you need a verb in the present perfect tense, which describes actions that have happened at an unspecified time before now and somehow it is connected to the present. Correct? When you think in this way, this leads us to option A, has written. If you choose option B, right, you would be making a tense mistake because it suggests a simple present action which doesn't align with the context of the sentence. Similarly, if you choose option C, wrote, it would not work either because it's past simple and the ongoing teaching implies an action related to the present. Got it? So, what do you need to remember here? When you see time marker, say for example for over 20 years, that's a time marker, right? You need to think about how the action connects to the present. So try to focus on the relationship between the subject, verb, and the time frame in the sentence. And let's move on to our next concept, which is vocabulary in context. That means choosing the right word. In PTE core reading, it will often present you with the challenge of selecting the right word that fits within the context of a sentence or a passage. So, this can be tricky because while many words might seem appropriate, the correct word always depends on the surrounding text and the meaning, how it is being conveyed. Let's see an example for that. Consider this sentence, okay, from a passage about environmental sustainability. The rapid deforestation is a serious problem and it poses a great dash to biodiversity. Here, the options are the first option is advantage, and the second one is threat, the third one is opportunity, and the fourth one is contribution. Got it? And now you need to think about the meaning. This sentence is talking about deforestation, which is typically a negative concept when it comes to environmental impact, right? So, therefore, if you take the word advantage or opportunity, wouldn't make sense in the context, right? The word that fits best is threat because it aligns with the idea that deforestation harms biodiversity. When you go for advantage, the option advantage, it just simply imply a positive result, which contradicts the idea of environmental harm. And if you are taking the word opportunity and contribution, both imply something beneficial, which doesn't fit with the negative tone of the passage, correct? So, if you go for threat, that is correctly reflecting the danger that deforestation represents. Got it? So, what you need to remember here is Always read the whole sentence or passage to gauge the tone and context. And be careful with words that seem similar but carry different connotations in different contexts. Now, the next concept is reading for detail and inference. Reading for details and making inference are very important, for PTE core reading section. You will often be required to understand not just the literal meaning of the passage, but also to read between the lines and grasp deeper implications or assumptions. Let's see an example for that. Here is a passage. The government has launched an array of initiatives aimed at tackling the growing concern of air pollution in major urban areas. These efforts include stricter emissions regulations, increased public transportation options, and awareness campaigns aimed at reducing vehicle usage. Despite these measures, however, the results have been less than expected due to the lack of enforcement and the continuing growth of industrial activities. Now, if you're asked a question like, why have the government's efforts been unsuccessful? The correct inference you're going to give is not just because pollution still exists. Instead, it's about the lack of enforcement and growing industrial activities. So the passage doesn't directly say that these two factors are the reason for the failure. But if you infer from the text that you understand while measures have been implemented, they are insufficient due to these ongoing issues. Right. So here you are inferring meanings from the entire passage. Sometimes the true answer lies not just in what's said, but in what's not said directly. Got it? So look for words like despite, however, and although. They signal contrast and are key to understanding deeper meanings. When it comes to this passage, if you see here, despite these measures, however, the results have been less than expected due to the lack of enforcement and continuing growth of industrial activities. I hope you understood now. Now let's move on to our next concept, which is identifying the main idea and supporting details. In many PTE core reading tasks, you will be asked to identify what is the main idea or summarize a passage. This means you need to quickly find the central idea or the central theme and then try to distinguish the supporting details that back it up. Let's see an example for that. Take a passage about renewable energy resources. Renewable energy is increasingly being recognized as a vital solution to the world's energy problems. Solar, wind, and hydropower are the primary forms of renewable energy that have garnered much attention in recent years. These energy sources offer a cleaner alternative to fossil fuels, which are responsible for significant environmental degradation. Governments and corporations alike have begun to invest heavily in renewable energy infrastructure in an effort to reduce carbon footprints and combat climate change. So, here, if you read the entire passage, you will be able to derive the main idea. It is about the renewable energy, which serves as a key solution to energy problems and climate change. And you can look for the supporting details. So they are talking about the solar, wind, and hydropower. These are the types of renewable energy, right? And they are also telling about the impact, like how cleaner alternative to fossil fuels and the efforts like investments from governments and corporations, all these things. Got it? So if you're asked to choose the supporting details, you would focus on specific things. The supporting details give weight to the main idea, helping to justify the significance of renewable energy. So, what you need to remember is the main idea is the core concept of the passage that revolves around, and the supporting details it will expand upon the main idea by providing examples, facts, and additional information. Let's move on to our final concept, which is time management and skimming or scanning techniques. Time management, it is very crucial in PTE core reading section because you need to practice skimming. That means reading quickly for general meaning and scanning. You know what does scanning means, right? looking for specific information. So these techniques help you quickly gather the main points and the answer. In longer passages, you might be asked a question about a specific detail, but you don't have time to read the entire text in depth. Instead, try to do scanning. Focus on keywords in the question. Look for those keywords in the passage and don't waste time on every word. Just zoom in on the critical pieces of information. For example, if the question asks about the effects of certain policy and the passage discusses multiple policies, you can skip to that section where the specific policy is mentioned and the focus only on the relevant parts. So practice skimming to get the gist of the passage and practice scanning to locate specific answers quickly. Got it? And that's all for today's video. If you would like to share your thoughts, please drop them in the comments. Kindly like, share, and subscribe for more PTE code tips. See you in the next video. Bye for now.